Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics. So, Tommy Ten Names was left crying at Luton Airport last night after he finally came back to the country after fleeing months ago to avoid a court case and to be well clear of the, well, not particularly long arm of the law by the looks of it, during the summer riots. He waltzed into the country with his camera crew by his side to document his expected arrest, only to discover there's no one there. No one cared. It was like really late, nearly midnight at Luton Airport. There's no one there. He was just another gammon coming back from an extended holiday abroad so he could moan about foreigners, which is actually really baffling for Tommy Robinson. He spends all his time moaning about foreigners, and yet he spends most of his time being a foreigner. And he appeared so distraught at being ignored that I'm not sure who was more irritated by his non-arrest, him or me. But first, for daily political commentary, please click the subscribe button so you don't miss out. So, just before the summer riots kicked off back in July, literally a few days before, Tommy Robinson held a large rally in London and showed an untruthful video which the courts had already ruled to be defamatory and that showing it would constitute a breach of court. He was due to appear in court shortly afterwards, but fled the country to go on holiday around Europe for months, as he often does. He claims to have been suffering. Oh, I miss my family. So, well, why don't you come home then? Oh, yeah, I was going to be, I'd be made a political prisoner. I mean, I'm not sure how much he looked like he was suffering when he was lounging by the pool for months on end in multiple countries, paid for by struggling but gullible people who throw money at him because he hates the same things they do. A few days after he left the country, the riots kicked off, with Robinson active on Twitter appearing to coordinate much of the violence, for which there has not been any hint of an investigation reported. But he also organised another rally in London for this Saturday, just ahead of another court appearance next Monday. Not connected to the riots, this is his earlier misdeeds. And because he's already skipped court, they're not particularly keen to be made to look foolish again. So there's a warrant active for Robinson, which may be enforced to ensure he attends court next Monday. So Tommy Robinson, ahead of his return to the country late last night, tweeted that he expected to be arrested. In fact, he really laid it on thick. He was not only going to be arrested, he was going to be thrown into prison for the rest of his days. Not sure who he was trying to fool. Nobody thinks we'd be lucky enough for that to actually happen. But he was going to be arrested, which is why he came accompanied with his camera crew, you know, for maximum grifting material. So he could get a video out going, oh, political prisoner, give me money. And all things considered, I mean, I think he probably should have been arrested as well. But he wasn't. Robinson didn't quite know what to make of this. He tweeted his grifting link anyway for Saps to give him more money for his next foreign holidays, but he probably guessed he wasn't going to make as much because he wasn't actually arrested. But he said he was convinced he would be arrested, and then said, I bet poor old Penfold is gutted right now, crying into his vagina. Now, I don't follow all of the Tommy Robinson story arcs, I have to confess. But I'm not sure why he thinks Mark Francois would be upset by his lack of arrest. But it seems to me that the person most pissed off by not being arrested is Tommy Robinson himself. His reason for fleeing the country was that he would be locked up as a political prisoner when he came back. In other words, he fled this country to seek, what's the word? Refuge? Asylum in another country. Actually, multiple other countries. But his narrative rather collapses when he enters the country and nobody, including the police, gives a shit as to the reason why he wasn't arrested. I guess it's because the warrant exists purely to make sure he attends his court case next Monday. And if the authorities are confident that they could apprehend him at a port should he try to leave the country after his rally on Saturday, then I guess they didn't need to detain him this far in advance. However, both the police and the courts are going to look like proper tits if he actually dodges his court appearance again. When the authorities have had every opportunity to detain him, and especially if he commits another contempt of court in full view of the Met Police while they watch on like lemons just like last time. I already think that Robinson has been dealt an inexplicably gentle hand by our criminal justice system. Robinson is committing Very obvious, very serious crimes. He boasts about those crimes publicly. He makes clear that he will continue to break those laws in the future because he has no respect for the laws or the courts. He makes this clear. He's explicit. He's making us look ridiculous. It's vaguely amazing to me that Robinson was actually permitted to carry out a contempt of court in showing the defamatory video back in July with the police watching and going, oh, what do we do about this? Oh, nothing. It would look beyond incompetent if the same thing happened again when they've had plenty of forewarning. So although it's mildly amusing that Tommy Robinson was left crying at the airport, denied his publicity scene last night, and had to somehow turn a tweet explaining how he got it all wrong into something that would still persuade his supporters to give him more money. I mean, these foreign excursions don't pay for themselves, I mean, I do hope the authorities know what they're doing, because right now, all we know is that he should be attending court for a contempt of court hearing that he already fled the country to avoid. We've seen people imprisoned, I mean, quite rightly, I'll reiterate, but nonetheless, who did less to incite violence this summer than Robinson himself appeared to. If there was no reason to arrest him last night, a full week before his court hearing, purely for the purposes of making sure he attends that hearing, which I could be persuaded to go along with, detaining him a full week ahead of time might seem a bit heavy-handed. Why was he not at least arrested for questioning about his role in the riots? Why are all the big names seemingly getting away with it? Not that it's helpful for various groups to be lobbying the government for this. I've seen various groups, calling on the government to make sure he faces justice. No. The government have no say in it, nor should they. Robinson and his cronies claim that they are political prisoners. That means the government intervene directly in their arrest and so on. No, the government are not intervening, and there must be no suggestion that they would. It's a matter for the police, the CPS and the courts, independent of government. But it's not clear what Robinson hopes to achieve at his rally this Saturday. I suspect it's just another opportunity to raise funds, Maybe put pressure on the police again. Get this big crowd. Oh, there'll be more riots if you try to arrest me. You're better off just letting me quietly walk out the country again. Just in case he tries to hop on another Eurostar. I noticed a commentator pointing out that he'd been out of the country for just under, and specifically in the EU, for just under 90 days. And that's pretty much his time limit since Brexit. But we know he travels on an Irish passport, so I don't think that's an issue. If he's going to be stopped from leaving the country again, it will be our police, not French customs, who stop him. Robinson says he's going to be, this Saturday, protesting right on Sir Keir Starmer's door. This will be challenging for a couple of reasons. First, Keir Starmer is unlikely to be in London at all on Saturday. Second, even if he were at Downing Street, I don't think Tommy Robinson's got a Downing Street pass, and there are big iron gates at the end of the street. In reality, he will shout and scream whilst holding his swag bag open for the rubes he attracts. Some of them will be arrested for pissing on the cenotaph, and the Met Police will face more questions about why they allowed someone with an active warrant against them to do whatever he does at the weekend. Unless, of course, they're planning on exercising the warrant first thing on, say, Saturday for maximum chuckles, because, as I said, it could be argued detaining him for a full week ahead of the court case might be a bit excessive, assuming, of course, they're confident they could stop him leaving the country again. Let Robinson spend the rest of the week explaining why he thought he was going to be dumped into prison for the rest of his days and why he inexplicably seems to be still walking free, and then arrest him at the weekend. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can join for memberships. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll see you later.